All right, so take a comfortable seat and take the time to feel the connection that you have with the ground. If you remember, this week and last week have both been about grounding, and this week we have focused a little bit more on using our senses to ground. And so that actual tuning into how it feels to have your legs or your feet or whatever it is that's touching the ground, to notice that sensation of touching is a really helpful way to bring your body and your experience down. So now hands to your upper thighs, and that is exactly what this action is for, is to press, to root, to feel the sensations. So as you press into your legs, you can take the first couple of moments to move a little bit. And sometimes that helps release a little through the low back and through the hips, especially moving the pelvis. But then let yourself come to some stillness here with this press and let yourself experience. Notice what the ground feels like underneath you. And then lift up and open through your heart space, lengthening from hip to armpit, shoulder blades are engaged. If you want, you can close your eyes, or you can keep your eyes softly open but gazing at the ground, whichever feels the best for you this morning. Take a couple of full deep breaths. And as you feel that connection with the ground, notice how much that connection with the ground can help you expand and lift with your breath. And now begin to tune into an intention for yourself. And again, as I've said the last couple days, you can set that intention as an intention of grounding, or you can set that intention as something like compassion or gratitude or joy. Tuning into what would be helpful for you to cultivate today in your practice. Take a couple big breaths with your intention. You can release your hands from your thighs and bring hands to connect at heart center if you would like to. And as you press your palms together, lift up through your sides again. Draw shoulder blades onto your back. On your next exhale, bow toward your heart, taking the time to honor yourself for being here, present, tuning in. You can softly open your eyes and release your hands down. And now bring fingertips to connect to the ground and press. And as you press, remember it's that direction of your energy that you get to provide yourself. So as you push down, lift up with your heart, shoulder blades engage. And from there, go ahead and take a couple of movements with your head and neck. Some ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. Yes to the right. And yes to the left. And then back into center now. Walk your left fingertips out to the side and reach your right arm up and over your ears, starting here with that first gentle side stretch. Press down with your fingertips and allow your ribs to expand out to the right. And even think of letting your right shoulder turn more open. Both shoulder blades on your back, and take another full big breath as you feel the connection of sitting bones and legs to the ground. Then inhale, rise back up. And right fingertips are at the ground, left arm reaches up and over your ear. And as you begin to press and expand the ribs out to the left, also turn more open and draw your shoulder blades onto your back. Take a big, deep breath. Inhale, back up to center. Left fingertips to the floor again. Reach your right arm up and over your ear. This time you're working your fingertips as far out to the side as your body is ready for. And push. Expand into the right ribs. Turn your shoulders open for a moment. Shoulder blades are on your back. And then we'll start a little bit of movement. So root down with both sitting bones. And then exhale, turn your torso so your right shoulder's turning down, reaching in that diagonal. Full big deep breath, longer stretch perhaps through the lats and maybe even into the low back here. Full deep inhale, long full exhale. Inhale, turn open and rise all the way back up. And then it's right fingertips to the floor, left arm over your ear. And then work your way as far into this side stretch as your body is ready for. Root through sitting bones. Press with your fingertips, expand into your left ribs, and then turn open. Shoulder blades engage. And then exhaling, turn downward, reaching through fingertips, rooting through both sitting bones. Take a big deep breath. Then inhale, turn up and open, rise all the way back up to center. And then we'll walk hands out to our knees and just clear through the spine. A couple movements in a cat and cow. Inhale, belly forward, heart forward. Exhale, press back through the spine. Then inhale, sit tall, walk your hands forward, coming as deeply into your fold here as your body is ready for. Maybe settling onto elbows or settling your head down, your choice. And take a few moments to find a little movement. And then let yourself settle, come to a little bit of stillness. And allow yourself that opportunity to sense what's touching the ground, what's present in the body. And then rise just up onto your hands. So you're still in this fold and walk your hands over to the right side. So that side stretch happening on the left. And from this place, you can walk your left fingertips a little further forward of your right hand if that feels good. Take a big deep breath. And expand your left ribs with your breath. Push with your right hand and think of turning your belly a little bit more to the right. And then walk your hands over to the left side. And again, right fingertips can walk forward of your left hand if you would like. And then as you push with your left hand, you're letting your belly turn a little bit more to the left, letting your left ribs turn a little bit more open. Then take a big breath into your right side. And now back into center and rise all the way up to a tall spine and switch the cross of your legs, coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself, and move your sitting bones. And then as you root down into your upper thighs again, take that moment to feel the connection of your legs and your sitting bones on the ground or whatever you're sitting on. Take a couple big breaths with that sensation of grounding. And then lift up higher through your heart space, lift through your sides, shoulder blades on your back. And now left fingertips to the ground or a block right in front of your left knee. Right hand to your hip, and then turn your belly and your heart to the right side. Shoulder blades are on your back here. Root down through both sitting bones, and then if you want to, you can stretch. Right arm up and over. Take a full, big, deep breath. And in particular, notice that expansion of your right ribs. Rooting down through your sitting bones, rise back up to center. Pause with hands at your knees and move again through a little clearing, cat-cow. Then inhale, sit tall, right fingertips come to the floor in front of your right knee, left hand to your hip, and start to turn your belly and your heart to the left. Shoulder blades engage, and then maybe stretch up and over with your left arm. And as you take that big breath, again, you're expanding into the left ribs at the same time as turning a little open. Keep rooting down through sitting bones and lengthen a little further. Inhale, rise all the way back up. And now walk fingertips behind you, coming to this little bit of a back bend here. Press down with fingertips and lift up and open through your heart space. Take a deep breath and notice how your body feels. To support your low back here, if this action has any tension, then you're going to draw in with your low belly and your low ribs. And now if you find that it would feel good to walk back a little further, feel free to, but then press again, expand again. And now gently rise all the way back up, and one more time, seated cat-cow to work through whatever is showing up in your body for sensation. And now sitting tall, we're going to shift forward onto hands and knees and work a little bit more through hips. So as you come to hands and knees, feel free to give a little cushion to your knees if you want. And from this tabletop position here, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, toes are tucked under behind you, and then take a moment to sway hips a little side to side, getting into the outer hip and maybe into the IT band a little bit. And make sure to take a little pause on each side, just to sense and notice what's there. And now as your hips come over to the right side, start to move them back towards your right heel. You can untuck your toes here if you want to, and settle hips all the way back in this little bit of a sideways child's pose. And then inhale, rise back up and bring hips over to the left side. And then settle hips back towards your left heel. And take a full deep breath. And now back into center and pause to set yourself up, pressing into the palms and fingertips, letting your upper back expand a little, and then reach back with your right leg. Bend your right knee, press your heel toward the ceiling, and then take 3 big circles in one direction. And then 3 in the other direction. And then step your right foot forward in between your hands, coming into this lunge position. Blocks on your hands if you want. Tuck your back toes and inch your back knee back as far as you need. And now we're going to take just a tiny twist. So you can bring your hand to the ground here on the left side if you'd like, or you can keep it up on a block. But as you start to turn your belly and your heart to the right, take your right thumb into your hip crease and give a little push back on it. And as you push back on it, noticing the knee turn more toward the pinky toe edge, also push down with your back knee, with your left knee. Take a big, full, deep breath, grow longer through your sides, and put your shoulder blades on your back. On your exhale, both hands come down to the inside of your front leg, so to the left side. And again, if you want, you can work your back knee back a little bit. I always find that different positions mean I have a different amount of space to move. So now work down toward one elbow, maybe 2, coming into this lizard variation, push your right big toe mound down. And as you do that, imagine your thumb in your hip crease, moving it back on the right side. Push down with your back knee, allowing yourself that little bit of lift. And take 2 more full breaths, growing longer through your spine. And then rising back to your hands, settle back to hands and knees. And from hands and knees, to check things out, settle hips back towards your heels and let your head come down if that's comfortable. Take some big breaths. And now inhale, rise back to hands and knees, set yourself up. Press palms down, press fingertips down, finding that rooting action. Expand into the upper back. Inhale, left leg reaches back, bend your knee, press through your heel, and then begin some big circles. And switch directions after 3. And then step forward with your left foot in between your hands. And again, blocks are always an option. Back knee works back as far as you need it to go. Center with your hips here and grow longer through your spine, through your sides. And then right hand on a block or the floor, your choice. Left thumb comes up into your hip crease. Give that press back. As you turn your belly and your heart more, draw shoulder blades onto your back. Push down with your back knee. Find that little bit of lift. And take a full breath. And now both hands come down to the inside of your front leg. And extend your heart forward, maybe work your back knee back a little further, and then work down toward one elbow, maybe 2. Left big toe mound pushes down, left hip wraps back, right knee presses down. Extend forward through your sides, long through your spine. And then work your way back up to your hands and settle back onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, one more time, hips to heels to take that child's pose. And now we're going to make our way to standing. So if you want to do that from your hands and knees, you can, or you can do that from a downward dog. You can do that from blocks underneath your hands. Find the easiest way, gentlest way to come forward for you into a forward fold first. And then inhale, lengthen part way, sitting bones lift. Exhale and fold over your legs. And then hands to hips. Press back on hips, lift shoulders up, elbows up, and rise all the way to stand. And now from this place, set your feet. Inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes, and then root them down. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Take a hold of your right wrist, stretch over to the left side. Shoulder blades are engaged, a little bend to your knees. Move inner thighs back and then engage the low glutes and the low belly. Push into the floor to maybe stretch a tiny bit further. Turn more upward with your right shoulder. Inhale back up to center, switch wrists. Exhale over to the right side. And again, as you lift and spread your toes, bend your knees, squeeze your glutes and push. Turn more open with your left shoulder. Inhale back up to center and exhale, release your arms down, turn palms forward, mountain pose. Feel free to close your eyes or you can keep your gaze down at the ground. Take a full breath and feel the contact of the four corners of your feet. And then softly opening the eyes, we're going to come over to the wall and take a side stretch at the wall. And we'll take a shoulder stretch as well. Since we're already here, we may as well. But bringing your right side close to the wall, you're going to take your right hand or your right elbow to your side. Fingertips come to the wall, and that's just a guide for how far away to be. As you turn your left shoulder more open, reach your left arm up and then start to side stretch over toward the wall. And you can bend your elbow a little bit here to bring your fingertips to the wall, leaning a little in. And then from this place, a little bend to your knees, move your inner thighs back, and then engage the low glutes, the low belly, push into the ground as you start to push into the wall and move your ribs away. Your elbow comes away from your side a little bit. Take a big, deep breath. And inhale, rise all the way back up. Release both arms down and then turn your palms. Find that mountain pose place. Full breath. You're going to turn around. And then same thing, elbow by your side, fingertips to the wall with your left hand. And then as you reach up with your right arm, give a bend to your knees, move inner thighs back, and then squeeze low glutes, low belly, push, and then start to find that side stretch. Push with your fingertips to move hips away, to move your ribs away. Take a big deep breath. Inhale, rise all the way back up. And again, reach through your fingertips, lift shoulders up and back. Close your eyes if you want, or keep them open and gazing down. Full breath. Good. So now let's go ahead and take the modified version of down dog that we took yesterday in class. If you're there for it, I think all of you were. So we'll take that modified version of down dog just because it feels good on the low back. And then we'll take a shoulder stretch. So hands come out to the wall. Start to bend your knees and walk your feet back, walk your hands down the wall, coming to about that 90-degree angle, except you have bent knees, so it's really not a 90-degree angle. Sitting bones lift. As you push with your hands, think of pushing all the way from your lats, root down through your toes, and engage the belly a little bit. Engage the low ribs. And then sway your hips. And then gently walk your feet back in and rise all the way up. And now we'll do a little bit of stretch through the shoulder, and this is through the pec and also through the back of the shoulder a little bit. So turn your palm toward the wall, fingertips with the left arm, press fingertips in and move your left shoulder blade onto your back. Your elbow is a little bit bent here, and then start to turn your torso and walk toward the right side. So you're turning open here. Head to the back plane of your body. Take a full big breath. And then gently release. Give your arm a little shake. And then second side. Right fingertips to the wall, elbow is a little bit bent and lifted, and then start to turn yourself away from the wall to the left. Right shoulder blade is on your back, send your head back, take a full deep breath. And then gently release and give your arms a shake. And then come on back to the front of your mat, feet are inner hip distance apart and parallel. Take an inhale and stretch up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. And now we're planting hands, stepping back. Downward facing dog pose if that's in your practice, or come right to hands and knees, either one. But take a moment in whichever one you're choosing to sway hips again, side to side. In either one, that means that you're lengthening from hip to armpit on one side and then the other side. And then knees down if they're not already. Hips to heels, knees can be wide if you want. Take another child's pose. And now gently push yourself up to your seat. And you're coming all the way down to sitting bones. And now grab bolster or blanket, either one. And that's gonna go underneath your legs. And we're gonna take this restorative version first of a forward fold. So legs wide or narrow or somewhere in between, whichever feels the best on your low back. And then move your sitting bones. And then press down with your fingertips, lift your ribs. And as you stay long and fold towards your legs, you get to decide where it is you're gonna hold on, whether it's at your feet, your shins, maybe you're putting elbows on thighs. That's one of my favorites. I think it feels really good on the quads. Also, it gives you a little bit of a pressing point to stay long through your spine. But it's entirely your choice where that is for you. And take a couple full big breaths. As you let yourself do a little bit of movement for the first 3-4 breaths, find more space. And then let yourself come to stillness. Let yourself experience whatever is happening here in your body. Even notice any specific places, or maybe your body is holding on, or there's a particular sensation. See if you can notice where that sensation stops and starts. Remember, you're never stuck in one place, so if you need to shift, just do so gently, thoughtfully. Eyes can be closed here if you want, or you can just simply have a gaze at the ground. We have just a few more breaths here. So with your next breath, utilize it to help you pulse one more time. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale maybe to settle in a different place in the pose, or staying where you are. And then come back to stillness and notice if the sensations that are present are the same or if they've shifted. And now inhale, gently bring yourself all the way back upright. I like to walk my legs in here a little ways so that they're more parallel to each other as opposed to wide. But you can stay wide if you want to. We're going to take a side stretch and a twist. So press down with fingertips behind you and lift up tall. And if it's better for you, if you have your bolster under your legs, if you'd like to put a blanket under your hips too, you're welcome to. But then from sitting tall, left fingertips reach out to the left. Reach your right arm up and over your ear. Root down through the heels and through the sitting bones on both sides. And then walk your hand out as far as your body needs. Push with your left hand and expand into the right ribs. Full big deep breath. And then all the way back upright, long through your spine. Same side, reach your right hand across to your left thigh, knee, wherever it's comfortable. And then press down with your left fingertips to help you lengthen. As you exhale, draw your low ribs in to help you twist a little more. And then from this place, you can always take that twisted fold, maybe walking your hand down the outside of your leg towards your foot or to your foot, maybe staying more upright. Take a big breath. Inhale, come back into center. Right fingertips come to the floor beside you. Reach your left arm up and over your ear. Root through your heels and your sitting bones and start to walk your fingertips out. Again, as far as that's right for your body. Shoulder blades are on your back. You're turning open with your left ribs and your left shoulder. Then push into your right hand and allow that movement to move right into your ribs on the left. Then inhale all the way back upright, long spine, and then take that twist over to your right side. Hold on where you need to. Find that press and then find more lift, more length. Exhale to draw your ribs in and twist. From there, if you want, you can take a little bit more of a folded twist or stay more upright. Inhale back into center and exhale one more time. Take a fold over your legs as deeply as that needs to be for you. And we have only about 5 breaths here, so not as long a hold as we did before. Use those 5 breaths to help you pulse, inhaling to lengthen, exhaling maybe to deepen or to stay where you are or even come out of it a little ways. Then inhale, rise all the way back up, walk your feet in, and then we're gonna take a side stretch over our bolster. So move props away so that you can see. With your bolster, you're gonna take that to where your side is gonna rest. So there's space for your shoulder and your arms off the other side of it. Your hip, left hip, right up close to the bolster. If you have a bigger bolster, then literally against it. If you have a smaller bolster, then it might be a few inches away, not much. And then as you start to side stretch over it, you can bend your knees back here if you'd like to. You can adjust how far your hips are away from it. And then if it's comfortable, your head can rest down on your arm. You can always have a block underneath your head here. But our whole goal is to find that side stretch onto the top ribs. So now if you want to, you can add lengthening the legs out and reaching the top arm up and over. And you can use your bottom hand to hold onto your wrist and create a little pull. So think about reaching top foot away, top fingertips away, and take a big deep breath. And if that's not comfortable, you can bend one or both knees. Full big deep inhales and exhales. About 3 more breaths on this side. And then bend your knees, release the top hand. You can use that hand to help you press yourself up to your seat. And then second side, you can either keep the bolster right where it is and just turn around, or you can flip it to the other side, depending on how you're positioned. Either way, just doing the other side is all. So now right hip close to the bolster, legs bend back for a moment, and then just give myself space. And then as you side stretch over the bolster, you can rest your head on your arm, or you can put it on a block or a pillow here. And then you're welcome to lengthen legs. Just remember, it's all optional. You're welcome to reach that top arm up and over and take a hold of your wrist. Full big breath. And just remember, we're very different on each side for organs. So inevitably there's a different kind of sensation when we do these stretches, and we're pressing into organs. So Notice what that is for you, how it feels. And use that sensation as your guide to maybe shift to just one knee bent, maybe not hold on to your wrist. You can always just rest your arm. You can even wrap it around your back if that feels good on your shoulder. So lots of options here. And now gently release your left hand back to the ground, bend both knees, and gently press yourself all the way back upright. And now let's take a spinal twist to do a little bit more clearing through the lower part of the spine. So bolster the long way now toward the front of your mat. Hopefully it doesn't get confusing with me using two different direction mats. So left hip right up against the bolster, facing the right side. And again, bent knees back behind you. And now turn your belly and your heart. Physically pick up your hips to help you turn if you would like, so that your belly can face the bolster, your heart can face the bolster, and then rest. And as you rest, take a few breaths here, again, to do those little micro movements, but then give yourself permission to soften after maybe 3 or 4 breaths. And now gently use your hands to support you to rise back up to your seat. And then turn yourself around so that the right hip is near the bolster, knees are bent back, and then turn your belly, turn your heart, turn your hips a little bit if you need to, and then rest. And same thing that I mentioned in our side stretch, because we have different organs on each side, the sensations might be different. So allow those sensations to help you decide if you need to shift a little bit. After those first few breaths, give yourself permission to come to some stillness. And now use your hands to support you to rise back up to your seat. And now we're going to come to lay all the way down onto our backs. And as you lay down, be sure that you have props handy. As you lay all the way down, set footprints on the ground, just wide enough so it's comfortable maybe to drop knees in together to touch or toward touching. And then set hands on your hips, or you can always set one hand on your belly, one hand at your heart. Take a moment here to feel your back body against the ground. You can close your eyes if you want to and tune into whatever sensation is there for you. And specifically, think of maybe where that sensation starts and ends. And now both knees draw up towards your chest. You can hug knees in either narrow or wide, whichever feels the best, and rock, letting your low back lengthen a little bit here. And now take knees wide if they aren't already, and even think of wider than your torso. Aim your feet up toward the ceiling and hold on first around the back sides of your thighs and tilt your sitting bones down. Flex your feet and then work your hands up your legs to the place that is still comfortable to tilt your sitting bones down. As you create a little bit of resistance here, pull down with your hands, push back into your hands with your feet or your legs, wherever you're holding on, and see if that helps you tilt your pelvis again. Sitting bones down, trying to create a little lumbar curve. And now just a little gentle rock side to side, keeping that resistance between your hands and your feet. Really having the intention of walking your sitting bone further toward the foot of your mat. And then coming back into stillness here, recreate that resistance, that pull down and push back, tilt the sitting bones, and take a full breath. And now release the feet. Find your blanket and you'll set that folded up over your hips and belly here if you would like to. And then blocks for underneath your knees. And we'll take soles of feet together into our butterfly, knees opening with a little support under knees or thighs. Shift the blocks around until it's comfortable. And then from this place, you can always have hands at your hips, or again, one hand at your belly, one hand at your heart. Or you can open up a little bit more through the shoulders with a cactus. Really, the options for your arms are endless. So take a few moments to find what feels good. And if it's comfortable, you can let your eyes close. If it's not, you can let your eyes stay open. But try to tune in and notice where the sensations are, where they stop and end. Stop and start. And now from this place, you can stay right here for your Shavasana, or you can shift to something more comfortable. Feel free to change the position of your legs or your arms. Feel free to even do something like come to a seated meditation instead. Wherever you decide to be, take another moment, maybe 3 breaths or 4 breaths, to shift. And then to settle. Come to some stillness. Begin to bring awareness to your breath. As you notice sensations present in the body, start to move a little bit. Little gentle shifts and movements in the body to help you start to maybe feel it a little bit more. And then bend your knees and roll to one side. And then press yourself back up to your seat, letting your hips stay heavy. As you come up to your seat, if you want, you can take one hand to your heart and the other fingertips to the ground. And with your eyes closed, take another moment to feel, to notice the sensations, and notice the connection that you have with the ground. The grounding mantra, if you would like to tune into it, is I'm always safe at the center of my being. Inhaling, I am always safe. Exhaling at the center of my being. Have a very peaceful, very beautiful rest of your day. Have a wonderful weekend. Namaste. Thanks, you guys.